live? Are we live? Is it working? Are we live? I think we're live. All right, happy Friday, nerds. I finally found the cord to my snowball. So hopefully you guys are actually hearing me speak. Um, Hopefully it's working. So today we're going to talk about my number one tip for editing and proofing your manuscript. And also, surprise, I have a giveaway. I'm going to announce it at the end. It is happening just today for the first person who comments. So, all right, let's do the editing stuff first. So, basically, anytime you are writing a book, a huge manuscript, anything like that, um, let's see, let's test this real quick. Let me make sure it's working. Is it working there? Seems like it's working. All right. Yeah, let's continue then. Just want to make sure you can hear me because otherwise it's just going to look like I'm flailing like an idiot, which I do. So, anytime you're writing a manuscript, a book, a story, anything like that, and you intend it for public consumption, at some point you're going to have to edit it and proofread it. And part of that editing process is, of course, going through and doing the content edits, which is where you look at story and character and motivations and plotting and all of that stuff to make sure that you're saying what you want to say and it sounds right and it's believable, right? And then after that part, which technically I find to be the easiest part of everything, then you have to start getting into things like line edits where you're spell checking and you're making sure grammar and usage are correct and you're looking at punctuation. And then eventually, when you do enough rounds of that kind of editing, you end up doing your proofreading where you are doing the double check to make sure that everything is correct. And also the formatting, proofing when you get your final, well, almost final copy. And at least for me, that looks like this. So this is the proof copy of the book that is due out in August, The Founding Lie. And let me just tell you, this ending right here, what you can see, all these beautiful little stickers. This is the fourth time I've used almost all of the sticky notes in the pack. So when I do this, I'm not just looking for things that I might have missed, but I'm looking for formatting issues. And that might be where the margins are wrong or the spacing is wrong, things like that. Sometimes, especially depending on what program you use, you end up with widows and orphans or little just other formatting issues. And ideally, you go through, you mark those in your proof copy. You also check for things like the cover not lining up perfectly with the cut, which has happened here. So I need to change the sizing. And all of that kind of stuff is what you look for. Now, that process in general can take a pretty long time because you are, editing for quite a while. I don't know about you, but I go through several rounds of edits, particularly since right now I am self-editing, which means I'm very likely to miss things. I talked about this in editing tips before, but we are not perfect. And if we're writing our own work and then editing our own work, obviously we're writing our own work, unless we're getting a ghostwriter. So I suppose there's that. Maybe I was wiser than I thought I was. If we are editing our own work, then we are going to miss the kind of things that we naturally fall prey to. It might be crutch words, it could be overuse of adverbs, it could be certain phrases that we just tend to use naturally. Like I had to edit out a whole lot of the word despite. I don't know why, but apparently I like that one. So that was in there a bunch of times. We can have a really hard time seeing that stuff. And so, one of the great tips that I've heard and I use myself is to change the font when you're editing so that the words look different. I've even heard people suggesting reading backwards. So, just going from the back of the manuscript to the front because it throws things out of order. And so, your brain is less likely to fill in the gaps with what it expects to see. And that's really the main problem. You know what something was supposed to say, your brain fills in the gap. And so you miss those things that somebody else who doesn't know what to expect picks up for you. So this can be a great reason to have beta readers. This can be an awesome reason to hire an editor. But unfortunately, not all of us have a few $1,000s to hire an editor right away. So That's something that I'm saving for and really hoping I can put enough away to hire an editor for the last book in the series, because this process is long and hard. But I have picked up a few tricks along the way. And the main trick, and I'm sure that you've probably heard this before, but I really want to drive home how much of a difference it has made, is to print it out. Print it out, whether that is the actual physical proof copy like this is, or just printing out a butt ton on your printer, or going to a Staples or somewhere and having them just print a circle bound manuscript for you, whatever it is, get it printed. I don't know entirely what it is about going through the printed copy, but you can pick up so much more than you would when you're looking at it from your computer, which is where you wrote it. That's where you did your first edits, and you brain has gotten used to it. So you really expect what you see. When you're looking at a printed copy, it completely changes the way that you approach it. So I did several rounds of proofing, several rounds of editing, including specifically for spelling and grammar, several rounds of that. It is the longest thing. I mean, writing it obviously is the longest, but aside from the initial draft, the editing portion is the longest thing. This takes me longer than anything else, longer than designing book covers, longer than doing the formatting. So I found, after all of that, after several rounds of editing and spell checking with multiple programs and everything else, I still found a bunch of stuff, guys, and not just things that you would expect. So there are not many spelling errors in here. There's not many grammar problems in here. But you know what there is? A lot of flipping adverbs, like so many adverbs. They were trying to kill me. And that is not a problem I thought I had, that I did not think was part of the arsenal of issues that I had in my pocket. I know that I'm an over describer. I know that about myself, but I did not think that I was a serial adverb user. And apparently I am. Apparently I am. So having a printed copy allowed me to, because I'm used to reading other people's books, because I'm used to picking up and holding other paperbacks, it really changed the way that I saw it. And I found so many issues that I would not have otherwise seen. Like I said, this was after all kinds of rounds of editing myself. See that? Oh, you can't because it's super bright. All those highlighted things I completely needed to get rid of. Like punctuation, I hadn't gotten right in sentences for some reason. Like just stuff that really I completely missed. So if you are editing or proofing your work, even if it's just the first draft, print that sucker out. I prefer a pencil to do the edits, but you might like a pen, but print it, do it. It's going to make a huge difference. I cannot tell you how many more things I found. And I am really, obviously, this had to be proofed anyway before it goes to actual print and is sold to the public. But I cannot tell you how much more I found just by being able to hold this in my hand. It made a world of difference. So print your stuff, man. Do it. It's going to help. I promise you. Number one tip. I'm still doing the editing tips series. Don't worry. We will do other videos about that, but print it. Get yourself these little stickies. Make yourself notes. It is going to change the quality of your work for the better, I promise. Okay, giveaway time. So as part of this process, if you are a subscriber of mine, as you know, I have been giving away goodies to my readers and my subscribers in honor of the fact that The Founding Lie is going to be live August 16th. And I told you guys that I would be doing random giveaways along the way, and I am. So here is today's giveaway for the first person who comments on this video. We have this very cool little keychain that is full of Eververse related charms. So the first one is a little fox head, which is the nickname that Ali has, that Molfus calls her Kishma, which means little fox in his language. Then we have the book cover here of The Founding Lie. And then at the bottom, we have this beautiful little vial of ambrosia nectar. Oops, I wanted to turn around so you could see it, but it keeps rolling on my palm, guys. This beautiful little vial of ambrosia nectar, which is what the Venatori use to increase their muscle memory when they train. So, first person to comment, I will send you this beautiful little keychain for you to have and keep. You can clip it on almost anything, and they're handmade. So, there's that. All right, comment, first person, you will get this goodie. And just because I'm awesome, the second person to comment will get one of these bookmarks with original artwork that I painted for the book, signed by me on the back. So, second person, this is yours. First person to comment, this beauty, trying to turn it so you can see it. This beauty is yours. All right, comment. I will hit you up. Make sure that you give me your shipping address when I email you, and those are for you guys. I hope this simple editing tip helps you. Like I said, it's made a world of difference for me. Next regular vlog will be on Tuesday during the launch. That's 2 a week. Subscribe, like, do all the things. Links, are in the thing. You guys know all that stuff. And I'll see you next week.